I realized that our lives aren't just about what we can benefit from. When you start to have such a large awakening to such deep things in life that people normally miss because they're always worrying about the hustle and bustle of life, you realize the layers in emotions, or the layers in actions, the layers behind why we do what we do. And nothing is ever surface level. So we, of course, are here to get pleasurable experiences out of life, but our life really isn't about us. And when I had that awakening in 2020, I realized that my life was not only about me. I mean, it's not really even about me, because our lives are really about how we are a small piece of the massive puzzle that has about 8 billion pieces in it. And once I learned a little bit more about what my piece contained, I learned that if there was anything I was going to contribute to make somebody else's life pleasurable, it was going to be mental health around mindfulness and meditation. Hey y'all, welcome back to Holistic Flow. I am your girl Lolo. Today I want to talk about how and why I became a certified meditation teacher. I got one request to do this video and I thought it was a really good video to do because I can also talk about why I think meditation and mindfulness is important for everyone. And a lot more people are practicing it, but I've noticed not a lot of people are teaching it, or maybe they don't know how to teach it or how to be certified or what they need to do to teach meditation. And since I went down it, I would like to share my story. But before I do, if you are new here to my channel, hello. Here on Holistic Flow, we are creating a safe space, a space for self-love, self-growth, and maturity, and we're taking a journey towards an overall better mind, body, and spirit connection. So if you're with that, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload a new video. If you have done that, thank you so much. And let's get back into it. So in March of 2020, when everything started getting crazy, that's when it first occurred to me that mindfulness was important. I had a lot more free time to sit down with myself, notice my own thoughts, turn off all distractions, stop talking to as many people, stop talking to people on the phone, disconnect from the world. And when I did that, I found a lot more peace. It's because in essence, I started noticing how destructive our thoughts can be when everything else is influencing our thoughts except for what's truly inside. I started making it a habit of sitting down with some quiet time every single day, maybe in the morning or the evening, just for like 5 to 10 minutes, and sit in silence and notice my thoughts. And I started doing this without looking at a YouTube video or downloading an app or any sort of guidance. I just took it upon myself to take out some quiet time out of my day to watch my thoughts. I do have a current video about a couple ways in which meditation changed my life, and I can put it in the card right here. But a summary of what I learned from meditation is that everything that we see, feel, or react to is a perception of how we are choosing to view our world. Our choices are influenced, of course, by everything we're hearing, everything we're seeing, and everything that we take in through our 5 senses, through our touch, our sound, our sight, our taste, our, what's the 5th one? We're always taking in stimuli from the outside world, and all of it affects us, and it's not all bad, but it's not all good, and it's not all helpful for what we need to do or focus on moving forward. It simply takes more awareness to realize that we can learn how to rewire our brain and filter out certain things so that we can focus more, keep our eyes on the prize, and bring our mind to stillness and quiet so much of the chaos that often goes on in our mind. And learning that, in essence, is how the year of 2020 was of my youth, young adult life, which honestly hasn't been long, it's the best year because it's the most growth that I've ever seen within myself. And I feel like the year 2020 was like there was opposite ends of the spectrum for people. It was never just in the middle, meaning it was either really, really bad or it was really, really good, and not much in between. All in all, I feel like there was a mass awakening. That awakening that I noticed within a lot of the world and within myself is the very thing that sparked me to make this YouTube channel. There was a few reasons that I felt led to teach meditation. There was a point in time that I wanted to listen to guided meditation. And to do that, I would search on YouTube. I would search guided meditations for stress relief, for anxiety relief, etc. And one of the main things I was looking for was somebody who looked like me teaching meditation. It was so important to have somebody who looked like me teaching it because I wanted to see that representation, especially in the time that we were going through. In that specific time in 2020, around, May, June, July, August, that time was really, really difficult. So when I was looking for Black meditation teachers, I really didn't see anybody Black who was teaching meditation. And I sat back and I just thought, well, I could be one of the first ones, at least one of the first ones that I have come across. Maybe I just didn't do enough research. YouTube is a platform where people look up a lot of how-to things. So for example, if I was searching on YouTube for a video on how to fix a lamp, it probably wouldn't matter to me much what that person looked like because it's how to fix a lamp. A lot of people know how to fix lamps. However, the specific topic of mindfulness was something that I wanted to see someone who looked like me teach. A lot of the ongoing traumas that we faced as a people, a lot of the mental health battles that we face, disparities, not just in the mental health community, but in the health community in general, and a lot of the perpetuated instances over years and years of time. Seeing somebody who looks like you when you're Black talk about mental health is important. It's a lot more important than any of the other topics that you could hear somebody else talk about. So that was a main reason why I specifically wanted to teach meditation. Another reason was because I realized that our lives aren't just about what we can benefit from. When you start to have such a large awakening to such deep things in life that people normally miss because they're always worrying about the hustle and bustle of life, you realize the layers in emotions, or the layers in actions, the layers behind why we do what we do. And nothing is ever surface level. So we are here to get pleasurable experiences out of life, but our life really isn't about us. And when I had that awakening in 2020, I realized that my life was not only about me. Our lives are really about how we are a small piece of the massive puzzle that has about 8 billion pieces in it. I learned that if there was anything I was going to contribute to make somebody else's life pleasurable, it was going to be mental health around mindfulness and meditation. And the last reason that comes up off the top of my head of why I wanted to teach meditation is because I finally really stepped into this role that a lot of people saw in me before I saw it in myself. And it's crazy how many people that you may not even be that close to in life just see something in you that you're so resistant to. And this topic in specific, I think, heavily supplements my videos about not fitting in or feeling like an outcast, because when people notice you're different, it's kind of like you can't hide it. I've always been told that I have a nice, soothing, calming voice, talking voice and singing voice. And a lot of people just assume that I'm really spiritual and that I eat plants and grass and stuff. It's things like that, little comments here and there that you sometimes get from people. And when you get it consistently, it sort of maybe ingrain something in you over time. And as much as I talk about on my channel that you choose what words get into you, in some way or another, we are all a product of our environment. Sometimes people can speak things over you because they have that spiritual gift to see the potentialities in people that that person can't even see in themselves. And that may be a part of how we need to be guided and led throughout our life to get to where we ultimately need to be, to have our piece of the puzzle fit into the rest of the puzzle and benefit all the other pieces around it. It attracted me in a lot of ways. Ideas, goals that I had for my YouTube channel and life goals in general. On June 30th, 2020, I wrote down a list of 5-year goals, things that I wanted to attain within this day and 5 years later. And the date of which I wrote down these goals is pretty important because it's around a year ago from today's date. One of the goals I wrote down was verbatim, obtain my health coaching certification. This was one goal among 10 other goals that I wrote down that day. But that day that I wrote them down, I decided I was going to make a routine to go back every Friday to this page and read my page of goals. And I stuck to it. I did it consistently, and I still do. A few months after writing down these goals, I searched up different meditation schools. Then I narrowed my search down to 2 schools that I would potentially get certified at. The cost of one school was about $800. The cost of the other school was exactly $1,000. At this point, I'm just starting my senior year of college and I'm living at my parents' house, not really working a steady job. Neither of the 2 schools kind of popped out at me. So because I didn't have any money, I was gonna choose the one that was least expensive, the $800 one. So I was gonna DoorDash my way there to pay for the cheaper school. It was early October. And even though I had kind of made that choice to choose the cheaper one, in the back of my mind, I was still wondering if that was the right one for me. On October 19th, 2020, my dad gives me an important message. Says to me, hey, your family member such and so called me the other day. They really like your YouTube channel. At this point, I had been making YouTube videos for about 3 or 4 months now. I had a lot of family members supporting me, but this was a family member that I did not really talk to. I haven't talked to them in years. I haven't seen them in years. But my dad went on to say that your family member such and so also gave me $1,000 to give to you to help you out. And I was like, what? They want to give me $1,000? My dad's like, yeah, they just gave me the money to transfer into your account. So $1,000 was the same amount of the more expensive school that I was not going to choose. This was a straight sign because first of all, this is a family member, like I said, that I haven't really talked to a lot. And it's one thing for somebody to send somebody else money, right? But it's another thing for them to send $1,000. The alignment was real. But wait, there's more. A few days after I had paid the $1,000, a thought occurs to me. I email one of the teachers for the training and I say, hey, do you all provide discounts for college students? I was just curious. And the teacher emailed me back and said, yes, if you just send me your ID, we can refund you 15% of the $1,000. So a few days later, I got refunded $150, which means I only paid $850 for the program, which sounds very similar to the exact price of the other school that I was going to pick. But that just further solidified the idea that it wasn't even me who chose the right place to get certified. It was the place that chose me, or it didn't know that it was choosing me because it can't really choose, but it's the situation. My teacher training began in February of this year, and I just finished it June 2nd. So I stand before you today as a certified meditation instructor. I passively manifested one of my 5-year goals just by reading that goal every single week and replaying it in my mind, therefore kind of plugging it into my subconscious to attract everything that I needed to get there. And it's crazy how when something is happening, like when a seed is being planted, you can see all the signs happening, falling right in front of your face, but you don't see it as clearly as when you've already lived it out. But now that it's almost actually exactly a year later after this situation, I can look back and see how everything aligned. That's how you can honestly tell that this is the path that is beneficial to you. If you're ever thinking about getting a meditation teacher certification, I would highly recommend going with the Beta Center. My teachers, Charlie and Liddy, were amazing. They are amazing, and yeah, you'll love it. So I registered for my meditation teacher training in late October, and the training didn't start until February of 2021. Graduated in June of 2021. The training was virtual, however, it was very interactive with modules done day to day. I learned 12 different styles of meditation. I also met people from all over the world, and the training was a very eye-opening experience. There were some days where I intentionally took days of silence for as long as I could, of course, because I still had to attend virtual classes for my university classes. But on those days of silence, I would cut off all music, cut off all TV. I would silence my phone. I wouldn't answer any text messages. But the purpose was to cut off all distractions in order to hear, to listen more than we talk. Like I said in the beginning of the video, all day we're taking in stimuli from our senses, all 5 of them, even the one I couldn't mention. And sometimes the reason why we have such overwhelming thoughts is because we sort of have an overload of our senses. We're always doing something. And sometimes we just need to sit down with no noise at all and allow our mind to just shh and listen. Listen more than we talk. I also learned that whenever you're teaching something, it's not about you. And I know I said this earlier in the video, our life really isn't about us, but if you are any type of teacher, if you teach kids, if you teach adults, you teach, what else is there to teach? If you do public speaking or anything of that nature, you might get nervous before you go to speak or go to teach. And that nervousness comes from how we think people are looking at us, how we think they are judging us, how are they perceiving us. Anytime we're teaching something, it's not about us. It's not about how people are seeing us, because no matter how people receive what you're delivering, your only job is to deliver. Your only job is to make that space for people to learn the knowledge that you've acquired. Your only job is to be the deliverer and open it up for people to receive. It's not our job to make sure it's received, because we can't control how other people perceive what we're delivering. Humans are magnets, so whatever is for you, you will eventually attract it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. And I hope to see you in my next video. But until then, I'm sending peace your way, love your way, and joy to you, your family, and your friends. All right, y'all. Peace.